There's a simple truth that most people won't tell you. Motivation doesn't show up every day. Some days you won't feel like working. Some days you'll want to hit snooze and avoid the grind. You'll feel tired, distracted, or even just flat out uninspired. But here's the catch. Success doesn't come to those who only work when they feel like it. It comes to those who choose to show up, even when they don't want to. This is where real progress begins. When you force yourself to work despite the resistance, that's when you build character. That's when you learn discipline. And that's when you make real strides toward the life you want. In this video, we're diving into the power of pushing through those moments of doubt, discomfort, and laziness. We'll talk about why it's essential to keep going when your mind tells you to stop, and how these moments shape the person you become. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything or give you the easy way out. I'm here to give you the tools you need to fight through the resistance, get things done, and ultimately change your life for the better. You'll learn why working through the hard times can be your greatest advantage, and how you can build the habit of pushing forward, no matter how you feel. Stick with me, and by the end you'll have the motivation to keep going, even when you'd rather quit. Number 1. Feelings are not your master. Let's talk about something that separates the successful from everyone else. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not even intelligence. It's the ability to do what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. You see, most people let their feelings run the show. If they don't feel motivated, they don't work. If they're tired, they take a break. If something is uncomfortable, they avoid it, and that's why they stay stuck. That's why year after year, nothing changes for them, because they're waiting to feel like it. But let me tell you something. Your feelings don't care about your success. Your feelings don't care about your future. If you let feelings dictate your actions, you'll wake up a decade from now wondering why you're still in the same place. You'll look around and see that the people who pushed through, who did the work, no matter how they felt, have built the life you once dreamed of. And that's gonna hurt. So right now, make the decision. Make the decision that from this moment forward, your feelings will no longer be in charge. Your goals will be in charge. Your commitments will be in charge. Because that's what it takes. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I know what it's like to wake up and feel exhausted. I know what it's like to not want to get up, not want to work, not want to push forward. That little voice in your head will tell you, just take it easy today. You can start tomorrow. But that voice is a liar. That voice is the reason so many people never reach their potential. Because tomorrow turns into next week, next month, next year. And before you know it, the opportunity is gone. So how do you break that cycle? How do you get yourself to work when every part of you wants to quit? Simple. You stop waiting for motivation and start relying on discipline. Motivation is great when you have it, but it's unreliable. One day you feel fired up, the next day you don't. If you only take action when motivation is high, you'll never be consistent. And consistency is what leads to results. That's why discipline is the key. Discipline is waking up and doing what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. Discipline is deciding that you're going to show up every single day, no matter what. The best part, the more disciplined you become, the less you even think about feelings. You don't wake up and ask yourself, do I feel like working today? You just do it, because that's who you are now. But let me tell you something even more important. The moment you stop letting feelings control you, you take your power back. You stop being a victim of your emotions, and you start being the master of your life. That's when things really start to change. You don't need to feel like doing something to do it. You just need to start. The first step is always the hardest, but once you take it, something shifts. The moment you push past that resistance, your brain wakes up, your energy kicks in, and before you know it, you're in motion. Think about it. How many times have you dreaded starting something, only to feel completely different once you got into it? That's because action creates momentum. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. So instead of waiting to feel ready, just take that first step. Get up, move. Start small if you have to. But start, because the sooner you act, the sooner you break free from the trap of waiting. Now let's talk about something else, the cost of inaction. Because every time you let your feelings win, you lose something. You lose time, you lose progress, you lose confidence in yourself, and that adds up. Look back at your life. How many times have you let it don't feel like it stop you? How many goals have you delayed? How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers because you waited? If that doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will. Success doesn't wait for anyone. You either show up and do the work, or someone else will. Life doesn't pause because you're tired. The world keeps moving. And if you're not keeping up, you're falling behind. And let's get one thing straight. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to force you to do the work. Nobody's going to drag you to success. It's on you. You either take responsibility, or you don't. And the people who take responsibility, they win. So here's what I want you to do. The next time you don't feel like working, recognize that feeling for what it is. A test. A test to see if you're serious about your goals. A test to see if you have what it takes. And instead of giving in, rise up. Because every time you push through, you get stronger. Every time you choose action over excuses, you become the kind of person who succeeds. And that's how real change happens. From this day forward, don't let feelings control you. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for motivation. Take action. Do the work. Build the life you want. Because nobody else is going to do it for you. Number 2, revisit your why. Let's talk about something that makes all the difference when you don't feel like working. It's not motivation. It's not willpower. It's your reason. Your why. Because when you don't feel like doing the work, when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when everything in you wants to quit, your why is what will keep you going. Most people never stop to figure out why they're doing what they're doing. They say they want success, but they don't take a second to ask themselves, why does this matter to me? What am I working toward? What's the real reason I can't afford to quit? And that's a mistake. Because when things get tough, and they will, if you don't have a strong enough reason, you'll fold. You'll give in to the excuses. You'll tell yourself, I'll just do it tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. But when your why is strong, when your reason is crystal clear, it becomes your fuel. It becomes the thing that pushes you through the days when you don't feel like it. Because let me tell you, those days will come. No matter how disciplined you are, no matter how much you want it, there will be moments when you feel drained, unmotivated, completely out of energy. And in those moments, your why is what pulls you back into the fight. So what is it for you? What are you working for? Is it your family? Is it proving to yourself that you can become the person you know you're meant to be? Is it the life you dream of, but haven't built yet? Because if your reason isn't big enough, your excuses will win. Look at the people who succeed. They don't wake up every day feeling inspired. They don't feel like working any more than you do. The difference is, they remember why they started. They don't let a bad mood or a tired morning stop them. They push through because they know what's at stake. Think about the last time you wanted something so bad that nothing could stop you. Maybe it was getting in shape. Maybe it was making money. Maybe it was proving someone wrong. Whatever it was, you didn't wait to feel ready. You didn't wait to be in the mood. You just did it. Because the reason behind it was strong enough. That's what you need to tap into every single day. You need to remind yourself why you can't afford to quit. You need to make that reason so powerful, so deeply personal, that nothing, not tiredness, not laziness, not doubt, can shake you. But here's where most people mess up. They set goals, they make plans, but they never connect them to something real. They say they want to be successful, but they don't dig deep enough to figure out why. And when things get hard, they lose sight of it. They forget. And once you forget why you started, it's only a matter of time before you stop altogether. That's why you have to remind yourself every single day. You have to keep your why in front of you. Write it down. Look at it when you wake up. Say it out loud if you have to. Because when life hits you, when everything feels overwhelming, your why is what will keep you moving forward. I've seen it too many times. People start something with energy and excitement, but when the grind kicks in, when the results don't come fast enough, when things get uncomfortable, they quit. And then they look back months later and regret it. They wish they had stuck with it. They realize that if they had just kept going, they'd be in a completely different place. You don't want to be one of those people. You don't want to look back a year from now and wish you had stayed consistent. You want to be the person who kept pushing, who kept showing up, who kept working, no matter how they felt. And let me tell you something important. Your why isn't just about you. It's about the people who are counting on you. It's about the version of yourself that you owe it to. Because whether you realize it or not, Your actions affect more than just you. Your discipline, your work ethic, your ability to push through, it sets the standard for the people around you. If you quit every time it gets hard, what does that say to your future self? What does that teach your family, your friends, your kids? If they see you giving up, they'll think it's okay to do the same. But if they see you pushing forward, if they see you working when you don't feel like it, if they see you committed no matter what, that inspires people. That creates a ripple effect that goes beyond just you. So right now, ask yourself, why am I doing this? What am I really working for? What's the reason I can't afford to stop? And don't give yourself some shallow answer. Don't say, I just want to be successful, or I want to make money. That's not deep enough. Go further. What does success actually mean to you? What would more money do for your life? What does achieving your goal actually change for you and the people around you? Because when you have a strong enough reason, quitting isn't an option. When your why is powerful enough, feelings don't matter anymore. You stop caring about whether or not you're in the mood, whether or not you feel like working. You just do it because you know what's on the line. So the next time you catch yourself saying, I don't feel like it, stop, take a breath, and remember why you started. Remember the goal, remember the bigger picture, and then get to work. Because no one's gonna do it for you. No one's gonna hand you success. It's up to you. And the only way you get there is by showing up every single day, no matter what. Number 3, comfort is killing you. You know what's killing most people's dreams? It's not lack of talent. It's not lack of opportunity. It's comfort. The moment life becomes too easy, too predictable, too safe, people stop growing. They stop striving for more. They settle. And once you settle, once you start making comfort your priority, you lose your edge. You lose that fire inside you that pushes you to become better. Think about it. The most successful people in the world didn't get there by staying comfortable. They didn't reach the top by taking the easy road, by avoiding difficulty, by choosing what felt good in the moment. They got there because they did the hard things. They pushed through discomfort. They embraced challenges. They showed up when they didn't feel like it. And that's what separates them from everyone else. Most people are addicted to comfort. They want success, but they don't want the struggle that comes with it. They want results, but they don't want to deal with the discomfort of putting in the work. So they stay in the same routine. They wake up at the same time, do the same things, never challenge themselves, never push past their limits, and then they wonder why their life isn't changing. But here's the truth. Nothing grows in comfort. If you never push yourself past what's easy, you will never reach your full potential. If you always avoid discomfort, you will always stay stuck exactly where you are. Because growth only happens when you force yourself into situations that make you uncomfortable. It happens when you do things that challenge you, that stretch you, that push you beyond what you thought you were capable of. Look at your life right now. Be honest with yourself. Are you choosing comfort over progress? Are you making decisions based on what's easy instead of what's necessary? Because if you are, that's the reason you're not getting the results you want. That's the reason you're not moving forward. You've made comfort your priority instead of growth. And as long as comfort is your priority, you will never become the person you are meant to be. You need to rewire the way you think about discomfort. Instead of avoiding it, you need to chase it. You need to seek out the things that challenge you. You need to put yourself in situations that force you to level up. Because that's where real growth happens. That's where you start to separate yourself from the people who are just coasting through life. You see, success isn't about working when you feel good. It's about showing up when you don't. It's about pushing yourself when every part of you wants to quit. It's about proving to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses, stronger than your laziness, stronger than your desire to stay comfortable. The problem is, most people don't even realize how much comfort is holding them back. They don't realize that every time they hit snooze on their alarm, every time they skip the gym, every time they procrastinate, they're choosing comfort over progress. And every time they make that choice, they reinforce the habit of quitting. They teach themselves that it's okay to avoid hard things. And over time, that becomes their identity. That's why you have to break that cycle. You have to start making decisions based on where you want to be, not where you are right now. You have to train yourself to do the hard things, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Because that's when it matters most. That's when real discipline is built. Every time you push through discomfort, every time you do something that you don't feel like doing, you're proving to yourself that you are in control, not your feelings, not your excuses. You. And that kind of discipline, that kind of mental toughness is what will separate you from everyone else. Because the truth is, most people won't do it. Most people will keep choosing comfort. Most people will keep making excuses. But you don't have to be like most people. You have a choice. You can keep living the way you've been living, playing it safe, staying comfortable, avoiding difficulty. Or you can step up and decide that you are done with that mindset. You can decide that you will do whatever it takes, no matter how uncomfortable it gets. And when you make that decision, when you commit to that path, everything changes. Think about the moments in your life when you felt the most proud of yourself. Think about the times when you accomplished something difficult, when you overcame a challenge, when you pushed through something that felt impossible. I guarantee you, those moments didn't come from staying comfortable. They came from struggle. They came from pushing past resistance. They came from proving to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. And that's exactly why you have to keep pushing. That's why you have to keep challenging yourself. Because every time you do, you're becoming stronger. You're becoming sharper. You're becoming the kind of person who doesn't break under pressure, who doesn't quit when things get hard. And that kind of person is unstoppable. So stop letting comfort hold you back. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect situation, the perfect motivation. It's not coming. No one is going to show up and push you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. If you want it, you have to go get it. You have to fight for it. You have to be willing to do the work, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient, even when every part of you wants to stop. Because at the end of the day, that's what separates the winners from the losers. That's what separates the people who actually make something of themselves from the people who spend their whole lives wondering what could have been. The only question is, which one are you going to be? Are you going to keep choosing comfort? Or are you going to step up and do what needs to be done? The choice is yours. But remember this, the longer you stay comfortable, the longer you stay stuck. If you want to change your life, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to break free from the habits that are keeping you small. You have to be willing to do the hard things over and over again until they become second nature. Because that's what it takes. That's the price of success. So decide right now, are you willing to pay that price? Are you willing to do what most people won't? Because if you are, if you commit to that mindset, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that can stop you. But if you keep choosing comfort, if you keep avoiding the struggle, you'll wake up one day full of regret, wishing you had pushed harder, wishing you had done more, and by then it might be too late. Don't let that be your story. Get uncomfortable, push through, do what needs to be done, and watch how fast your life starts to change. Number 4, your future self is watching. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that their future is some distant thing, something they'll figure out later. But let me tell you, your future isn't waiting for you. It's being shaped by every single choice you make today. Right now, the way you wake up, the way you work, the way you handle challenges, all of it is building the person you're going to become. And the question you need to ask yourself is this: are you making decisions that your future self will be proud of? Or are you making decisions that you'll regret? Most people don't think about this. They go through life reacting to whatever happens in the moment, never thinking about the long-term consequences. They skip the hard work today because they don't feel like it. They put things off because they're tired, because they're unmotivated, because they'd rather do something easier. But what they don't realize is that every time they do that, they are stealing from their future. They are making life harder for the person they're going to become. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. Picture that person. What kind of life do they have? What kind of shape are they in? What kind of opportunities do they have? Because that version of you is being built by what you do today. If you waste time now, that future version of you will pay the price. If you cut corners now, that future version of you will suffer for it. And let me tell you, there is nothing worse than looking back and realizing that you could have done more, that you should have done more, that you wasted time. You can never get back. You see, life has a way of keeping track. It doesn't forget the effort you put in, the the sacrifices you make, the discipline you build. It all adds up. And one day you're going to have to live with the results of those choices. You're either going to thank yourself for the work you put in, or you're going to hate yourself for wasting the years you can't get back. And trust me, regret is far more painful than the temporary discomfort of discipline. I've seen it happen over and over again. People who had dreams, people who had potential, but they didn't take it seriously when they had the chance. They let laziness win. They told themselves they'd start tomorrow. They thought they had more time. And then one day they woke up and realized that tomorrow never came. They looked in the mirror and saw someone they didn't recognize. A weaker version of the person they could have been. And the worst part, they knew it was their own fault. They knew they had no one to blame but themselves. I don't want that for you. I don't want you to wake up 5-10 years from now, full of regret, wishing you had worked harder, wishing you had made better choices. I want you to wake up proud. I want you to be able to look back and say, I did the work. I showed up. I pushed myself, even when I didn't feel like it. Because that's the only way you build a future that you're proud of. The key to all of this is to stop thinking of your future self as a stranger. That person is you. You are either making life easier for them or making it harder. And if you truly care about yourself, if you truly want to be successful, you will stop letting temporary feelings dictate your actions. You will stop choosing comfort over growth. You will stop making excuses, because every excuse you make today is just another problem your future self will have to deal with. And let me tell you, your future self is watching. Every time you decide to hit snooze, they feel it. Every time you skip the workout, they feel it. Every time you choose distractions over discipline, they feel it. And one day, that version of you is going to look back and either be grateful for the effort you put in, or be angry that you wasted so much time. So ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be someone who rises above their emotions, who pushes through when things get tough, who does the hard things even when they don't feel like it? Or do you want to be someone who lets laziness win? Because there is no in-between. You're either getting stronger or weaker. You're either moving forward or falling behind. This is why discipline matters so much. Because motivation will come and go. But discipline is what keeps you moving forward when you don't feel like it. It's what separates the winners from the losers, the successful from the unsuccessful. Anyone can work hard when they feel good. That's easy. But the real test is what you do on the days you don't feel like it. The real test is whether you can push through discomfort, whether you can force yourself to show up when every part of you wants to quit. And let me tell you, when you start living like that, when you start thinking about your future self in every decision you make, your life changes. You stop making excuses. You stop wasting time. You stop giving yourself permission to be weak. Because you realize that every choice matters. Every day counts. And when you stack up enough good days, enough disciplined days, suddenly you wake up one day and you're unrecognizable. You've built strength. You've built confidence. You've built a life that you're actually proud of. But it starts right now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. This moment. This choice. Are you going to do what needs to be done? Or are you going to let another day slip by? Are you going to make your future self proud? Or are you going to leave them with regret? That's the question you have to ask yourself every single day. Because the truth is, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to push you. Nobody is going to do the work for you. If you want it, you have to take responsibility. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to stop making excuses and start making progress. Your future self is watching. So what are you going to do about it? Number 5. Routines eliminate excuses. One of the biggest traps people fall into is waiting until they feel like it before they take action. They sit around, hoping for motivation to magically appear, as if one day they're going to wake up and suddenly feel an unstoppable urge to work hard. But let me tell you something, waiting for motivation is the fastest way to get left behind, because motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. It's like the weather. Some days it's there, some days it's not. And if you only work when you feel like it, you're never going to achieve anything worthwhile. The real key to success isn't motivation. It's discipline, and discipline is built through routine. The more you rely on a structured routine, the less you have to depend on how you feel in the moment. Because let's be honest, most of the time, you're not going to feel like working. You're not going to feel like pushing yourself. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel unmotivated. You're going to feel like quitting. That's normal. That's how the mind works. It wants comfort. It wants to avoid pain. It wants the easy way out. But if you let those feelings control you, you'll never get anywhere. This is why routines are so important. They eliminate the need for decision-making. They take away the mental battle of, should I do it now or should I wait? Because when you have a set routine, it's no longer up for debate. You don't negotiate with yourself. You just do it. And that's the secret to consistency. People who succeed at the highest level aren't necessarily the most talented. They're not the ones with the best ideas. They're the ones who show up every single day, no matter what. They've built habits and systems that keep them moving forward even when they don't feel like it. Think about this. When you wake up in the morning, do you debate whether or not you should brush your teeth? No, you just do it. It's automatic. It's part of your routine. You don't need motivation to do it. You don't need someone to hype you up. You just do it because it's part of how you start your day. Now imagine if your work ethic was the same way. Imagine if exercising, reading, improving your skills and grinding toward your goals became as automatic as brushing your teeth. That's the power of routine. It takes the emotions out of the equation. A lot of people think they need some perfect plan, some magical strategy to be productive. They want to find the secret to staying consistent. But there is no secret. It's just discipline. And discipline is built through repetition. You don't wake up one day and suddenly become a disciplined person. You create discipline by doing the hard things over and over again, until they become a part of who you are. You see, the mind loves patterns. It loves repetition. It thrives on habits. If you train yourself to work hard every single day, eventually it won't feel like a choice anymore. It'll just be what you do. It'll be your new normal. And that's when everything changes. That's when you start making progress at a speed you never thought was possible. Because now, you're no longer relying on motivation. You're no longer waiting to feel like it. You're locked in. You're committed. You're doing the work whether you want to or not. This is where most people fail. They try to force themselves to be productive without setting up a routine that makes it automatic. They rely on willpower alone. And let me tell you, willpower is not enough. It runs out. It gets weaker throughout the day. That's why successful people don't depend on willpower. They create systems that make success inevitable. They wake up at the same time. They have a set schedule. They eliminate distractions. They put themselves in an environment that forces them to be productive. They don't leave anything up to chance. And listen, I get it. Starting a new routine is hard. It's uncomfortable. Your mind will fight against it. You'll come up with excuses. You'll find reasons to push it off. But if you can push through that resistance for just a few weeks, something amazing happens. The things that used to feel difficult start to feel normal. The things that used to require effort become effortless. Your brain rewires itself to make those habits automatic. And once that happens, you become unstoppable. Most people never reach this point because they quit too soon. They start a new routine, but the moment it feels uncomfortable, they stop. They tell themselves, maybe this just isn't for me. But that's the test. That's where growth happens. If you can push through that initial discomfort and stick with it long enough for it to become a habit, that's when you truly take control of your life. You have to understand, discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you train. And the best way to train it is through routine. Wake up at the same time every day. Start your work at the same time. Set a schedule and stick to it, no matter what. It doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be consistent, because consistency beats intensity every time. It's not about working super hard one day and then taking the next 3 days off. It's about showing up every single day and doing the work, even if it's not perfect. And here's the truth. Nobody is going to do this for you. Nobody is going to wake you up in the morning. Nobody is going to hold your hand and make sure you follow through. This is on you. If you want it bad enough, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. But don't lie to yourself. Don't say you want success if your actions don't match your words, because your routine is proof of how serious you are. If your routine is sloppy, your results will be sloppy. But if your routine is solid, your results will be solid. So stop waiting to feel motivated. Stop making excuses. Stop telling yourself that you'll start tomorrow. Because tomorrow turns into next week, and next week turns into next year. And before you know it, you've wasted years of your life waiting for the right time to start. The right time is now. The right time is this moment. Lock in your routine, stick to it, and watch how fast your life changes. Because the truth is, success isn't about who's the smartest. It's not about who's the most talented. It's about who's willing to do the work every single day, whether they feel like it or not. That's the difference between winners and losers. The winners don't wait for motivation. They create routines that eliminate excuses. They build habits that keep them disciplined. And because of that, they get results. So ask yourself, are you going to be one of those people who talk about what they want but never take action? Or are you going to be the kind of person who shows up, does the work, and builds the kind of life most people only dream of? Because at the end of the day, your success is not about luck. It's not about talent. It's about what you do consistently. And if you want to win, you better make sure your routine is setting you up for it. Number 6, the world doesn't care about excuses. Nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is losing sleep over the fact that you're tired, that you're stressed, or that you don't feel like doing the work. The world doesn't slow down just because you're struggling. It keeps moving. And if you let your excuses control you, if you let your feelings dictate your actions, you're going to get left behind. I get it. Sometimes life is tough. Sometimes you're exhausted. Sometimes you just don't have the energy. But here's the truth. You still have to show up. You still have to get things done. Because if you don't, nobody else is going to do it for you. Your dreams, they don't care if you're having a rough day. Your goals, they don't take a break just because you're feeling off. The opportunities that could change your life, they don't wait for you to be in the right mood. You see, people waste so much time justifying their lack of action. They tell themselves, well, I've been working hard lately. I deserve a break. Or it's just one day. It won't make a difference. But it does. Every day you slack off. Every day you let an excuse win. You're falling behind. Not just behind your goals, but behind the people who are willing to push through. Because while you're taking it easy, someone else is out there grinding. Someone else is pushing past their own excuses. Someone else is building the life that you keep talking about, but never take real action toward. You need to understand something. Nobody cares about your reasons for not showing up. The only thing that matters is whether or not you get the job done. That's the reality of the world we live in. You don't get results from almost doing the work. You don't get rewarded for trying. You get rewarded for execution. And the people who succeed at the highest level, they don't sit around waiting for the perfect conditions. They don't let little obstacles stop them. They figure it out. They get it done, no matter what. You ever notice how the most successful people in the world have the busiest schedules, the heaviest workloads, and the most responsibilities? You think they don't feel tired? You think they don't have days where they want to quit? Of course they do, but they don't make excuses. They don't look for reasons to stop. They keep moving forward, and that's why they're at the top. That's why they win. Because while most people give themselves an easy way out, they refuse to settle for less than their full potential. The biggest difference between people who succeed and people who fail isn't talent. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's that successful people don't let excuses run their lives. They take responsibility. They don't blame their circumstances. They don't wait for someone else to make things easier for them. They accept that the world is tough, that life is unfair, that success requires sacrifice, and then they do what needs to be done anyway. You need to adopt that mindset. You need to stop waiting for perfect conditions. You need to stop thinking the world owes you something, because it doesn't. If you want success, you have to take it. If you want to achieve something great, you have to work for it. And that means showing up, even when you don't feel like it. That means doing the hard things, even when nobody is watching. That means pushing past every excuse, every doubt, every distraction, and proving to yourself that you are capable of more. There's a reason why most people never reach their full potential. It's not because they aren't capable. It's because they let their excuses win. They let every little inconvenience, every small discomfort, every minor setback stop them from making progress. And then they wonder why their life never changes. They wonder why success always seems so far away. The truth is, you are always going to have obstacles. There will always be reasons to quit. There will always be moments where you feel like giving up. But you have a choice. You can either let those excuses define you, or you can rise above them. You can either let life push you around, or you can take control and push back. Because here's the bottom line. Nobody is going to feel sorry for you. Nobody is going to give you success just because you want it. The world rewards those who earn it. The world respects those who show up, put in the work, and refuse to quit. And if you can develop that kind of mentality, if you can train yourself to push through every challenge, to work hard no matter what, then nothing will be able to stop you. So stop making excuses. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop expecting the world to care about how you feel. Get up, get to work, and keep pushing forward. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is whether or not you did what needed to be done. And if you're serious about success, you already know what the answer should be. Number 7, use pain as a weapon. Life is tough. It's filled with obstacles, setbacks, and moments that test your patience, your strength, and your will to keep going. But do you know what separates those who succeed from those who don't? It's not talent, it's not intelligence, and it's definitely not luck. It's their ability to take pain and use it as fuel. Most people run from pain. They avoid struggle. They do everything in their power to make life as easy as possible. And what happens? They stay exactly where they are. Stuck, unhappy, unfulfilled. You need to understand something. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is a tool. It's a signal. It's life challenging you, pushing you, forcing you to grow. And if you can learn how to use it instead of avoiding it, you'll become unstoppable. Every time you struggle, every time you feel like quitting, every time life knocks you down, you have two choices. You can let the pain break you, or you can let it build you. You can let it be an excuse, or you can let it be your reason to push harder. Think about the most successful people in the world. Every single one of them has been through pain. They've failed. They've been rejected. They've been told they weren't good enough. But instead of letting that pain destroy them, they used it as fuel. They took every doubt, every failure, every hardship, and turned it into motivation. They told themselves, I will not let this define me. I will not let this stop me. I will use this pain to push myself to a level that most people will never reach. And that's exactly what they did. You have to do the same thing. Stop running from pain. Stop avoiding discomfort. When things get hard, when you feel like giving up, when life hits you with something unexpected, don't back down. Face it, head on. Use it. Let it remind you why you started in the first place. Let it drive you to work harder, to push further, to become stronger. Because the truth is, pain is the price of growth. There's no way around it. You don't get stronger without struggle. You don't get better without challenge. You don't achieve greatness without suffering. That's just how life works. Look at anyone who has ever accomplished something significant. They didn't do it by living in comfort. They didn't do it by taking the easy route. They did it by embracing pain, by using every setback as a stepping stone, by turning every failure into a lesson. That's the mindset you need to have. When you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you feel like you can't keep going, remind yourself that this is exactly what you need. This is what's making you stronger. This is what's preparing you for the next level. Most people don't get this. Most people give up at the first sign of difficulty. They quit when things get uncomfortable. They let pain control them, instead of using it to their advantage. And that's why they never reach their full potential. That's why they stay stuck in the same place year after year, never improving, never growing, never achieving the things they truly want. They don't realize that the pain they're running from is the very thing that could change their life if they just had the courage to face it. The next time you're struggling, the next time you're in pain, the next time you feel like quitting, stop and ask yourself, how can I use this? How can I turn this into fuel? How can I let this push me forward instead of holding me back? Because the truth is, pain is temporary, but what you build because of it, that lasts forever. You have to be the kind of person who looks at pain and says, good, this means I'm growing. This means I'm getting better. This means I'm becoming the person I'm meant to be. That's the kind of mindset that will take you to the top. That's the kind of attitude that will separate you from everyone else. Most people will never understand this. They will keep running. They will keep making excuses. They will keep waiting for things to get easier. But you don't have time for that. You're built different. You know that the struggle is part of the process. You know that every ounce of pain is shaping you into something greater. And because of that, you will win. Number 8, small wins lead to big wins. Most people want to achieve big things, but they overlook one of the most powerful forces in success: momentum. Momentum is what turns effort into results, what makes hard work feel effortless, and what separates those who accomplish their goals from those who stay stuck. And the key to building momentum: small wins. You see, success isn't about making one big move. It's not about waiting for some huge breakthrough. It's about stacking small victories, day after day, until those small wins turn into massive achievements. But here's the problem. Most people don't respect small wins. They think if they're not making huge progress instantly, they're failing. And because they don't see results fast enough, they quit. They convince themselves it's not working, that it's too hard, that maybe they're just not meant for it. But the truth is, they were just a few more steps away from building unstoppable momentum. Let's break this down. Imagine you're trying to push a heavy boulder. At first it barely moves. You push and push, and it feels like nothing is happening. It's frustrating. It's exhausting. And this is where most people give up. But if you keep going, if you keep applying pressure, something changes. The boulder starts to move, slowly at first, but then it picks up speed. And after a while, it becomes almost effortless. You're not pushing as hard, but the momentum you built is now carrying it forward. That's exactly how small wins work. When you start something new, whether it's building a business, getting in shape, improving your mindset, or developing discipline, it's going to feel slow. Progress will be barely noticeable, and that's where most people quit. But those who understand the power of small wins, they keep going. They know that every little victory, no matter how small, is a step forward. They know that consistency beats intensity every time, and eventually those small steps turn into something unstoppable. Think about it. If you want to get in shape, you don't need to run a marathon tomorrow. You just need to get to the gym today. If you want to start a business, you don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to take one step, make a call, set up a website, create a plan. If you want to develop discipline, you don't need to become a machine overnight. You just need to wake up on time, follow through on one commitment, and build from there. The mistake people make is thinking that success is about massive action. It's not. It's about consistency. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about proving to yourself that you can follow through, that you can keep your word, that you can push through discomfort. Because when you do that, something powerful happens. You start to trust yourself. And that trust, that's everything. Most people don't trust themselves because they've broken too many promises. They've said they'll start, but they quit. They've said they'll change, but they don't follow through. And over time, they stop believing in their own words. But when you start stacking small wins, that changes. You rebuild confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are disciplined, that you can handle whatever comes your way. And that confidence fuels even bigger wins. Here's the reality. Your big goals aren't going to happen overnight. There is no shortcut. There is no easy path. But if you commit to small wins, if you show up every day, if you keep pushing even when you don't see results, you will build momentum. And once you have momentum, nothing can stop you. So stop underestimating the power of small wins. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop looking for the perfect moment to start. Just take one step today. Do one thing that moves you forward, because small wins lead to big wins, and big wins change your life. Number 9, discipline is freedom. There's a concept that often gets overlooked when we talk about success and personal growth. We throw around words like freedom and independence, but there's one thing we rarely acknowledge. Discipline is what gives us true freedom. It's a paradox, isn't it? We all want to break free from the chains of our daily responsibilities. Yet the very thing that gives us the freedom to achieve anything we want in life is the one thing we resist the most: discipline. Let me break it down for you. When you have discipline, you don't have to rely on motivation. Motivation comes and goes. It's fickle, it's fleeting, and it's unreliable. Some days you feel like conquering the world. Other days you can't even get out of bed. But when you have discipline, you show up anyway. You do the work whether you feel like it or not. Discipline is like a muscle. It grows stronger the more you use it, and it's the foundation that holds everything together when motivation is nowhere to be found. Now, you might think discipline sounds boring or restrictive. You might think it's about forcing yourself to do things you don't enjoy. And sure, there's some truth to that. But what you don't realize is that discipline is the very thing that enables you to do what you want, when you want. It's the difference between being trapped by your habits and being free because you have control over them. The person who masters their discipline isn't weighed down by their responsibilities. They carry them with ease because they've built the habits that allow them to thrive. Let's take a closer look at this. Every time you choose discipline over procrastination, every time you make the right decision, no matter how hard it is, you're setting yourself up for success. Think about your goals. They won't come to you by accident. No one's going to hand you a life of wealth, health, and happiness just because you've got potential. No, you have to earn it. And that earning process, it requires discipline. It requires doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. When you wake up early to work on your goals, when you stick to your workout routine, when you put in the time to learn something new, that's discipline. And as you do it consistently, day in and day out, you'll notice something: your life begins to change. The habits that were once difficult to form become second nature. You start getting more done in less time. You become more confident in yourself because you've proven time and time again that you can follow through on your commitments. Now, I know you might be thinking, but discipline sounds so hard. How do I keep going when it's tough? And here's the truth. It's supposed to be tough. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. Discipline is about pushing through the discomfort, about doing the work even when it feels like a struggle. You're building muscle, mental muscle, and that muscle is what will give you the strength to handle anything life throws your way. And don't forget this, discipline doesn't just affect your external world, it changes you on a deeper level. When you show up every day, when you follow through, you start to believe in yourself in ways you never have before. Your self-respect grows because you know you can trust yourself. You know that you're the kind of person who gets things done. That confidence doesn't just stop at your work. It bleeds into every part of your life. You start taking control of your relationships, your health, and your finances because you understand that it all starts with the discipline to take action. But here's where a lot of people go wrong. They think discipline is a punishment. They think it's about sacrificing fun or enjoyment. But that's the wrong mindset. Discipline is actually a form of self-care. It's about creating a structure that supports the life you want to live. When you set a schedule, when you make time for what matters, you're not limiting yourself. You're giving yourself the freedom to succeed. You're removing the clutter, the distractions, and the excuses that hold you back. That's the real freedom. Think about the habits that you already have. Some of them are positive, and some of them are not so great. Maybe you have the habit of checking your phone the moment you wake up. Maybe you have a habit of hitting the snooze button multiple times, or putting things off until the last minute. These habits don't make your life easier. They make it harder. They keep you stuck in a cycle of reacting instead of creating. But when you make discipline your ally, you can replace these unproductive habits with ones that move you forward. One of the greatest things about discipline is that it compounds. Every day you choose discipline, every time you make the right decision, it adds up. Over time, those small daily actions snowball into massive results. And the best part, you don't even have to worry about the end goal all the time. As long as you stay disciplined, the results will come. Trust the process. The path to success is built on consistency. It's built on discipline. So what does that mean for you? It means you have the power to change your life, starting today. It means you have the ability to achieve anything you want, but it's not going to happen by chance. It's going to happen because you decided to be disciplined. It's going to happen because you made a choice to show up every day, to keep going when it gets hard, and to push through when the motivation fades. Discipline is the key to freedom. It's the key to everything you want, and it's waiting for you to take the first step. Will you take it? Number 10, nobody will save you. You have to realize something. No one is coming to save you. Let me say that again. No one is coming to save you. You are responsible for your life. You are the one who has to take charge, make the decisions, and do the work. People have this fantasy that someone somewhere is going to swoop in and make things better for them. They believe that one day someone will offer the perfect opportunity, that one phone call will change their life forever, or that a miracle will happen. But let me tell you, that's not how it works. If you sit around waiting for a knight in shining armor to come rescue you, you'll be waiting forever. It's not going to happen. The only person who has the power to change your situation, to make your life better, is you. That's it. There's no magical person coming to solve your problems. There's no magical moment coming to take you from where you are now to where you want to be. You are the one who has to take the initiative. It's easy to fall into the trap of waiting for someone to give you permission, or waiting for the perfect circumstances to line up. It's easy to say, I'll start when I have more time, or I'll make a move when I feel more confident, or I'll go after my dreams when everything is perfect. But let me tell you, if you wait for the perfect moment, it'll never come. Life will never be perfect. There will always be obstacles. There will always be challenges. And there will always be reasons not to take action. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. The ones who succeed take action, even when the circumstances aren't perfect. They take responsibility for their own success, and they don't wait for anyone else to do it for them. It all starts with realizing that no one is coming to save you, and that's actually a blessing. When you understand this, you stop waiting for things to change and start making changes yourself. You stop looking to others for answers and start looking within. You stop depending on the world to make things happen for you and start making things happen for yourself. Now I know this might sound a little harsh, but that's the reality. There's no one out there who's going to take the reins and do the work for you. You have to make the decisions. You have to take the actions, and you have to deal with the consequences, both good and bad. That's the price of freedom. The price of success is not some magical event or some lucky break. It's taking control of your own life and realizing that you are the captain of your ship. This doesn't mean you have to do it all alone. It doesn't mean you can't seek guidance or help from others. But what it does mean is that you are the one who ultimately has to take responsibility for your life. You have to be the one who wakes up every morning and makes the choice to push forward. You have to be the one who gets up after a setback and keeps moving toward your goal. You have to be the one who decides that no matter what, you're not going to give up. The world doesn't owe you anything. No one owes you success. No one owes you happiness. No one owes you a break. The only person who owes you anything is yourself. You owe it to yourself to show up every day, to do the work, and to keep pushing forward, even when it gets hard. Success is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about making the most of the moment you're in. It's about taking what you have right now, no matter how imperfect it may seem, and making the most of it. And here's the thing. The longer you wait, the longer you put off making changes in your life, the harder it becomes. The longer you sit around waiting for someone else to make things happen, the more time you waste. Time is the most valuable resource you have, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. So don't waste it waiting for someone to come and save you. You are the only one who can make the most of the time you have. It's your responsibility to take action now, to make decisions that will move you forward, and to stop waiting for something outside of yourself to change. You don't need a magic moment. You don't need permission from anyone. You don't need someone else to tell you that it's time to start. You just need to start right now, because that's how success works. It's not about waiting for someone to come and change your life. It's about you changing your life, one decision at a time. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to where you want to be. Every time you make the choice to show up, to work, to put in the effort, you're getting closer to your goals. It's not going to be easy. There will be days when you feel like giving up. There will be days when it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, when you wonder if all the effort is worth it. But let me tell you something. You're stronger than you think. You have everything inside of you that you need to succeed. All it takes is the willingness to keep going, no matter what. All it takes is the decision to keep pushing forward when everything else is telling you to stop. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't, no one else will. No one can save you, but you have the power to save yourself. You have the power to make the changes you need to make. to create the life you want, and to take responsibility for your future. The moment you realize that you are the one in control of your life, that's when everything starts to change. That's when you start living with purpose, with intention, and with the knowledge that your success is entirely up to you. So stop waiting for someone to save you. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect circumstances. The only thing you need is the decision to take action. You have the power, you have the control. Now it's time to step up and take responsibility for your own success.